Okay, our objective today is to talk about word problems as well as order of operations. So this warm-up is a really good transition into word problems and order of operations. You actually have to think about what is an order of operations in this problem to answer numbers 1 through 9, whether you realize it or not. Okay? One other reminder is that you will not have a quiz in Chapter 1 since it's basically a review chapter. You will just have a Chapter 1 test. Part of it you cannot use a calculator, part of it you can. I have a 6th grade class this morning. That's okay. It's okay. You're fine. So let's start. Let's go over the answers for the warm-up. Okay, number 1, Sean, what did you get? Good. Charles, number 2. Good. Emma M, number 3. Good. Doug, number 4. Good. Matt, number 5. Great job. Justin, number 6. Great. Zach, number 7. You didn't get that far? Okay. Alex, did you get to number 7? Okay. Donatus, number 7. Good. 90. Jeremy, did you get to number 8? You mean 88.2? Okay. Alyssa, number 9. Did you get to it? Okay. Good job. Awesome. 1 through 9 is perfect. Mary. Okay. Okay, so for number 2, order of operations tells us to multiply in order from left to right. So all we want to do there is take 2 times 8 times 3.3 times 2.5. Okay, so that's why then. Charles. Okay, number 4, the very first thing you need to do. Oh, thank you so much. I will grade it and I'll give it back to you at some point today. Thank you. Okay, sorry, 6th grade. Okay, so number 4, Charles, when you take A times B, we have 8.1 times 6. So did you multiply those first? Yep. And you get 48.6. I gotcha. Okay, so you typed that whole thing in the calculator? Okay, calculator is stupid. It does not know order of operations. It does not. So that's why you missed this. So you might have known, Charles, to multiply these first, to multiply BC. So I first just did that myself because I knew the calculator does not know order of operations. Right, but what you really have to do, this whole thing needs to be in parentheses. This whole thing needs to be in parentheses. You did? You didn't just do A times B plus B times C? You sure? Okay. I'll look at your calculator later on today because that shouldn't have happened. If you put parentheses around this whole term, you should be okay. Okay. For now, Charles, until I see what your calculator did, I would not do that. I would multiply these first, either mentally or on the calculator, multiply these, and then either subtract or add them depending on what the problem is. That's a really good, I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes you might think that you're plugging it into the calculator correctly, but the calculator does not know order of operations unless you tell it. Okay? So just be very careful. Donatus? Okay, that's good. I'm glad yours does. Some of them do not, so you just have to be extremely careful. When we talk about order of operations today, I'll explain that a little bit more. Okay, any other questions on 1 through 9 before we go over the warm-up, or the word problem? Okay, so number 10, we need to use 4 different variables. So who would like to tell us the 4 different variables that they used? Charles, what are the 4 variables you used? Okay, X, Y, W, and Z. Tell me what you have X representing. Okay, so you did the 28 feet, which is the length in feet of one rope. So you could either write out how long it is, or you could say, I did on mine, it's the length of one of the ropes. Okay, Charles, what did you use for Y? You mean 23 cents? Right here. You see the 23? Okay, just making sure. Okay, and then what did you use for W? Okay, so again, that's the length. And then Z? Good job. Okay, now let me again clarify that you do not have to have exactly what Charles said. You could also say for X and W, you could say it's the length in feet of one of the ropes. For the Y and the Z, you could say the cost per foot. So I would accept several things here as long as I know that you know how to explain it. Mary? That's okay. That's exactly what I have. So that's perfect. Sean? Like you mean you made up your own word problem? Is that what you mean? Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you need to use the data they gave us, but you're writing your own expression. Okay. Charles, since you gave us the variables, what did you write for your expression? Good job. So you left yours like this. Okay, that's fine. So you should all have something like that for your expression. You're multiplying two variables, and then you're adding it to the product of another two variables. You do not have to have the parentheses, but you may. So you could also have xy plus wz. Okay? Any questions on that? Charles? Yes, I just wanted to make sure you guys were okay with the setup, but yes. So the next thing is you need to plug in your variables. Here's where I saw you guys making some mistakes. Someone besides Charles, what did you get for your answer? So what is the total cost? Matt, what did you get? Good. Should be $20.48. This goes along very, very nicely with, well, what is an order of operations? Charles? Yeah, you're good. You all should get the same answer. Oh, that is weird. As 23, probably. Unless maybe it just rounded it and it ended up rounding it to the same. But yeah, maybe you did. That's interesting. But that should be the exact answer. So good job. You got it right. Emma M. Okay, so I don't know, you might have done something similar to what Charles had said, but he actually didn't type it. The first part is 28 feet times 0.23. So you should have done 28 times 0.23 plus 36 times 0.39. So right, that's why. This one should be $14.04. So you should do 36 times 39 cents. Okay. Anyone else have questions? Okay, so that can go into the warm-up part of your binder. Make sure if you missed something that you corrected it. Make sure if you didn't finish them all that you went back and put in the right answer and followed me. Again, these are good study guides for when we get to your first test in here. So just keep that in mind. While you guys are putting that into your binder and taking out the back of 1.2, did anyone check progress book yet to see if you could see the grades from the class? Okay, did you see them, Melissa? Okay, good. When you guys get a chance, if you haven't already, check progress book this week so that you can keep up with your grade. Well, what do you have in this class? You know, what assignments did Miss Gallardo put in there? Which ones did she not grade yet? Okay, so just make sure you double check that. Mary, did you get any notice about how to check progress book yet? Okay, I will either email your mom or I'll email Dr. Kane, that's in charge of the program, and see if they can get moving on that so you have access. I would think you would have known, so I'm guessing that you don't, because this happened last year with your sister. Okay. All right, to practice 1.2, we're just going to go through the answers here. Before we do, who can tell us how do you find area of a square from Friday's lesson? Briar. Good. Length times width. Briar, what variables did we use, though, to find area of a square? What letters did we use on Friday? We didn't use length times width. We used... You're right, but I'm just getting a little more specific. Alyssa, what did we use? Good. We used side squared. Donatus, why did we use side squared and not length times width for a square? Okay, it is the same thing. And what else about a square? Though? Why would we use the same letter? Good. And the sides are always the same. Okay, what about volume? How do you find volume of a cube? How do we find volume of a cube, Jeremy? No, nope. Length times width times. Begins with an H. Height. Good. But what did we use because it's a cube? Charles? Good. Side cube. Side times side times side. Same thing as what Jeremy said, but be careful. All the sides are the same. Units for volume is always units cubed. Units for area is always units squared. Okay? Always. So keep that in mind. All right, number 21, Alex, what did you get? Or 20, yeah, 21. Close. Close. Alyssa? 289 square inches or inches squared. Did you? Oh, okay. No, that happens. At number 22. Good job. Doug, 23. Good job. Justin, 24. Good. Emma H, 25. Answer. Good. Make sure you guys are all checking your answers. 26, Alyssa. Good. Feet cubed. Volume is always cubed. Donatus, 27. Good job. 28. Mary? Yes. I'm guessing that you probably forgot to do 30 times 30 times 30. You probably forgot a 0 in there. Should be 30 times 30 times 30 because it's a cube, and we know each side is 30. So just try that again to make sure that you're clear on that. Okay, 28, Adam? No. Emma M? Good. Adam, double check that so you can make sure you know what you did wrong. And then 29, you had to describe the pattern that you saw, complete the table with a variable expression involving n. So what is the pattern that was happening, or what was going on in that table? Alyssa? They were all to the 4th power. So for number 29, there was one kind of like this in the book. You should have something like or similar to n to the 4th. If you look at 1, 1 to the 4th is 1. If you look at 2, 2 to the 4th is 16. If you look at 3, 3 to the 4th is 81. I could keep going. So that was the pattern. The reason that was on here is to review again the exponents and the base, the powers. So that was n to the 4th. Okay, any questions on that part of the homework? The other part I will get back to you tomorrow. Sure? Jeremy? No, you didn't have to finish it. The table, you mean? No, because that would have been going on through infinity. You mean 5 and 6? Yeah, you didn't have to do that. You could have, but you didn't have to. Anyone else? Okay, put that away, take out your notes, and I want you to open up your notes. I'm going to skip the word problems for now. We're going to go to lesson 1.3. So we're going to go to order of operations, which is, I think it's probably page 8 in yours. So it should be page 8. Yep, page 8, lesson 1.3. And homework packet, keep in your binder under homework. Zach, you okay? Okay, so while you guys are shuffling around and getting your notes out, what is an order of operations? So what is an order of operations? You can either tell me in regards to life or in regards to math. Sean? What order you do it in? Okay. Anyone else want to add anything? Emma M? Good job. Please excuse me, Darian Sally, but I'm going to like change that a little bit for this year, and I'll explain why when we get to it. Mary? Very good job. What else, Justin? Good job. Did you learn that last year? That's what I'm changing it to. Very good. Okay. What about in life? Can you think of a time when in your life that order matters? Because this isn't just math. Yes, we're just talking about math today, but when in your life does order matter? You guys, I could think of a lot of examples. Mary? Good. When you're baking cookies. So if you decide to make your cookies, you forget to put the egg in, you bake it. When they come out, you just put the eggs on top. Not a good idea, right? Not only are you going to get sick, but you don't want to have eggs just sitting on the top of cookies. Ew. That's perfect. When you're baking or cooking, there is an order of operations that you follow. What else, Emma M? Exactly. You have to follow the order of classes. What if you decided to come to accelerated math last period of the day? You'd be in here with 9th and 10th graders, and it would probably be too easy for you, right? Because we're not moving at a fast pace. Okay, you're not being challenged, and also you're in there with 9th and 10th graders. You're going to look around and say, "Oh no." Doug? Yes, when you're going to the ice cream. I can also think of, how about when you're getting ready in the morning for school? What if you forget to take your pajamas off and put on your school clothes and you wear your pajamas to school? I mean, maybe that would be comfortable, but not a good idea. Sean? Did he? Oh, that's funny. Or what if you forget to brush your teeth? We're not going to want to talk to you, right? If you forget to do that. I'm just kidding. Mary? That's okay. That happens, right? So the point of that is there's an order of operations of getting ready in the morning. Same with me. I'm sure we all have a similar routine to get ourselves here in the morning. Make sure we're ready. Justin? Yes. Yes, I agree with that. Doug? Go ahead. That was just your costume? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, very interesting. So the point of that is there's an order of operations with a lot of things in life, not just math. Today's lesson talks about order of operations. So this is not in your notes, but do you see where number 7 is? And there's all these steps of going to the mail. I want you to write next to that OOO, which means order of operations, and write down the definition. So right where number 7 is, where all those steps are, there's, oh no, here, okay. Write OOO, and we're going to write down the definitions. Definition. Yep, right next to where it says the order of mailing a letter. Somewhere, because there's a lot of space there, somewhere in there. OOO, which means order of operations, are roles established to evaluate an expression involving more than one operation. Roles established to evaluate an expression involving more than one operation. So OOO, order of operations. This is a review, so I'm skipping around a little bit because you guys have learned this before. Okay, and then there's one more definition after that. So roles established to evaluate an expression. We know an expression is a part of math that does not have an equal sign. We know evaluate means solve. So we're solving order of operation problems. Okay, the second term definition I'm going to show you is grouping symbol. What is a grouping symbol? What is a grouping symbol? Sean? Good. Parentheses. What else is a grouping symbol? Mary? Good. Brackets. What else is a grouping symbol? Doug? No. Nope. That could work. We're just not, I didn't put absolute value in here yet because I technically didn't teach it to you yet. But that doesn't, yes, that is included there. Okay, there's something else called a brace. So a grouping symbol, very, very important that you know. You can write that underneath there wherever you have room. With order of operations, the very first thing you do is always simplify what is inside the grouping symbols. So it tells us that indicates what operations should be performed first. There are parentheses, there are brackets, there are braces, and there are fraction bars. So a grouping symbol is also considered a fraction bar. If there is something on the numerator, simplify that. If there's something in the denominator, simplify that. And then you divide. So that fraction bar is the same thing as seeing parentheses, brackets, or braces. So grouping symbol. This is the one where I'm going to take PEMDAS and change it to GEMDAS. So it's not just parentheses. There's a lot of grouping symbols. Mary? Yes, come on up. Definitely. Yep, exactly. Yes. Yep, that is a brace. Perfect. And you'll see them, they're on the computer, they're on the calculator. You won't see them in your book, but when I start to make the problems harder, I will incorporate brackets and braces. Your book goes as far as parentheses. But of course, we don't want it to be too easy. You guys need to be challenged. So eventually I will add in more of the grouping symbols. Okay, and then whenever you guys are ready, I'm going to have you flip over your notes to page 9, or take a look at page 9, I should say. Doug? Good. Okay. Okay, is everyone okay? Okay, so we're going to go to what is the order of operations. So I want you to change. You okay with that or no? Here. So I want you to change on page 9. So this is, I'm on page 9. Change the P to a G or put the G next to it. We're not calling the mnemonic device PEMDAS, which is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We're calling it GEMDAS. We're changing the P to a G because it really means all grouping symbols, not just parentheses. Okay, so I think some of you learned this last year and some of you did not. Some of you learned PEMDAS, some of you learned GEMDAS. From now on, we're all learning and using GEMDAS. So change that P to a G or write it next to it. And this includes brackets, braces, parentheses. I'm also going to put here a line. A fraction bar is also included. Okay? I should put that up here. So we also have a fraction bar. Okay, after that is exponents. Okay, now the next two are kind of weird. What are the next two words? The M and the D. Briar? Good. Multiplication and division. What order do we multiply and divide, though? Sean? Good. Whatever comes first. Multiplication and division. You simplify from left to right. So in other words, whatever comes first. Multiplication and division, you simplify from left to right. In other words, whatever comes first. What are the last two? Doug? Okay, Doug, how do we know the order to simplify those? Good, left to right. So we have take care of what is inside grouping symbols first. Second step, simplify exponents. Third step, multiply and divide from left to right. Fourth step, add and subtract from left to right. So it's extremely important that you remember multiplication and division from left to right, addition, subtraction from left to right. Okay, raise your hand if you have heard of this before and you've done a lot of practice with order of operations before. It's probably most of you. Okay, so I figured. Okay, any questions on this? Make sure you have the little arrow so you know to do this from left to right. Okay, we're going to go right down to examples, and I just want to do a couple examples with you guys. Some of you guys are still writing. Let me give you a minute. If you want, if you're done writing, we're going to start with example 1 if you want to try it. You know what each of these means, right? Okay. So if you guys are done writing that, if you want to try example 1, go ahead while we're waiting. Yeah, good job. You can do that. But just remember, though, too, these two you do in order from left to right, and then these two from left to right. Okay? Sean? Yes, you may. Do you want me to remind you where it is? Okay. Charles? Yes, we should. But yeah, go ahead. You just take it. You don't need to sign it. The reason I did not put that up there, Charles, is because your book does not get more complicated than 1 or 2 of them. When I give you in a couple of days some harder problems, there will be multiple grouping symbols. Okay? If there is a parenthesis and then something here and then like brackets around it, then you go from the inside to the out. But yeah, if it's not like that, Charles, you would go from left to right. Yes, yes. I just didn't get that complicated yet because we're not going to do the harder problems until later on this week. Okay, but we're going to. Yeah, very good point. Anyone else have questions or comments on that? Okay, let's go to example 1. We're going to skip that. Okay, number 1, we have 20 minus 6 plus 4 times 3. We are following GEMDAS. What is the very first thing we need to do? What's the very first thing we need to do? Matt? Good. First thing we need to do, I'm going to circle it, is multiply. Okay? Multiply first, rewrite everything else. So 20 minus 6 plus 12, because 4 times 3 is 12. So you guys should be writing with me if you did not do this already. Okay, now what? We have addition and subtraction left. Zach? Good. So add, subtract from left to right. So we have 14 plus 12. And now we just add. Mary, what is the answer? Good. 26. I want you always to circle or underline your answer. Okay? Always, always, always. Order of operation problems always make an upside down triangle. I don't know if you guys ever realized that, but it always makes an upside down triangle. I want you to show every step. It's extremely important that you show your work. Charles? Okay. So you do this, kind of. Okay. Yep. Yep. That's fine. That's perfect. Yes. If you guys show the V, did you do that in elementary school, or was that something you just did on your own? That's fine. You can do that. Doug? Okay. Okay, if you guys do it slightly different, that's fine. As long as you show your work, it doesn't have to be exactly like I do it, and that goes for all year. Jeremy? Okay, here, you go in order though from GEMDAS. First do grouping symbols, then do exponents. Then you multiply, divide from left to right. So you have to multiply, divide first. Then you add, subtract from left to right. Okay? So Jeremy, you should have steps up there just like mine. Okay, let's go to number 2. This is kind of one that Charles was talking about. There's 2 sets of grouping symbols. If there's 2 sets of grouping symbols, go from left to right. Take care of what is inside each of them. So let's take care of this one first, because GEMDAS tells us take care of what is inside grouping symbols. 18 plus 6 is 24. So I'm going to write that divided by 9 minus 6. So I'm going to rewrite the second set of parentheses. You okay? Go ahead. Yeah. That's fine. That's perfect. Wait. You shouldn't have 12, though. It's 18 plus 6. Be careful. Just watch the sign there. If you simplify both sets of parentheses first, that's okay. So we have 24 divided by 3. So always take care of what is inside grouping symbols first. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So circle or underline your answer. It makes an upside down triangle. They should all make an upside down triangle. Questions on that one? Okay, number 3, Emma H. What do we need to do first on number 3? Good job. So on number 3, you ask yourself, are there grouping symbols? There are not. So you go to the second part of GEMDAS. There is an exponent. I'm going to circle it. We need to take care of simplifying the exponent first. Adam, what is 2 squared? Good. So we rewrite 30 times 2 divided by 4 minus 5. Okay, Emma M., what's the next thing we need to do in number 3? Good, multiply. Multiply, divide from left to right. So I'm going to circle this. You can use the V if that's what you prefer. 30 times 2 is 60. So multiply, rewrite, divided by 4 minus 5. Okay, now what? Charles, what's the next step? Good. So 60 divided by 4, we have 15. Rewrite the minus 5. Justin, what's our answer? Good job. Our answer is 10. Again, it makes an upside down V. They all will make an upside down V. So this was an example where you didn't have grouping symbols, but you did have an exponent. Doug? Probably because you didn't show every step. Okay. Why won't you? Okay. It still will. Maybe it's just not as neat and organized, but it still will. Every step will get shorter.
Yeah, it's short, but it doesn't have. I did it kind of like this.
That's why. Try to do it up and down instead of like a little bit sideways. Okay. Any questions on number 3? Okay. Let's do one more. We'll do more of them tomorrow, but I want to do one more for now. Let's go to number 11. You guys think these are pretty easy, huh? Okay, number 11. We're going to do more tomorrow, but right now, number 11. Okay, number 11 is an example with a fraction bar. So I want to end with this, and then I'll explain what your homework is. Do you guys remember what we need to do first here? I explained this briefly. Alyssa, what do we need to do first? Good, multiplication. Take care of what is in the numerator first. Take care of what is in the denominator second, and then divide them. So in the numerator, we multiply from left to right. Jeremy, do you have a question? Mm-hmm. Do what's in the numerator first. So do what's up here first, and then do what's in the bottom. So in the numerator, 2 times 5 is 10. Rewrite the plus symbol. 3 times 2 is 6. The denominator, I'm just going to, for now, rewrite 13 minus 9. So for now, rewrite it. Now we can add what's on the numerator, subtract what's in the denominator. So we have 16 over 4. What's our answer? Adam? Good, 4. So I probably should have written this vertically up and down so it makes an upside down triangle. But regardless, you still get the answer is 4. Simplify what's in the numerator, and then simplify what's in the denominator, and then divide. Okay, any questions on the fraction bar ones? Zach? Correct. Correct. That's why I wanted to do this one. Even the fraction bar is considered a grouping symbol. You do that last. Yes. It's still a symbol that you need to take care of, but you don't do that first like you would do the parentheses. Simplify what's in the numerator, simplify what's in the denominator, and then divide them. Always. Charles? Yeah. You are right. You're... No. No. No, it's not. You're right, because you're still considering it. You're telling yourself, okay, I have a fraction here. How do I divide? Well, I'll do everything on the top first, do everything on the bottom, then divide. So yeah, you can say that both ways. Okay, homework packet. I want you guys to take a look at 1.3. We're going to do more order of operations tomorrow. Okay, I would like you to do on practice 1.3. I would like you to do the odds. So on 1.3, do the odds. If you write big, show your work on another piece of paper. Okay, so on practice 1.3, numbers 1 through 23, odds. If you write big, use either your notebook or another piece of paper. Circle or underline your answer. Doug? You can take them just in case, because there are some decimals on here. So you might not, since we didn't actually multiply and divide decimals by hand yet, you might want to take it just in case. So just the odds, take your time. You may want to write gem dust somewhere on your paper so you remember the order of operations. Justin. No, homework packet. Homework packet. Make sure you guys are always in the homework packet. Practice 1.3. Donatus? You can do it. Do the inside parentheses first, and then the brackets second. Remember I said go from the... Yes, yes. And some of these are going to be a little bit more challenging. We'll go over them. We'll talk about them tomorrow. We'll do more in class tomorrow. Okay, it's just homework. It's good practice for you guys.